All right. Hello and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 10 of Borderline FPL, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between FPL advice and Premier League banter. My name's Chris.
My name is Ben, and after what was a wild weekend in the Premier League and an even more wild weekend in FPL, we'll dive into that. Chris and I had we'll dive into it. Let's start with the table.
You're trying to oust me already, bro? Come on now.
I wanted to warn them. I wanted to warn them that you will rant today about your FPL.
they have come to hear me rant today. They know it's coming.
I'm just trying to give them a heads up. So
they know. That's what they're here for.
Most impressive thing of the weekend that's not Liverpool beating Man United 5-0 for you.
I really have to choose from that? Like,
what? Come on. The obvious choice is Liverpool 5, United 0.
Yeah.
But other than that,
there should not be another choice, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why it's like how we can't pick Norwich in our player pick stuff. You have to pick the one that's not.
Honestly, like I think us winning 3-1 was really impressive. It honestly should. If it wasn't for a wonder goal,
world class strike by Ramsey, I believe.
It was Ramsey. It would have been 3-0, and we just came out and looked. It was night and day between Monday and Friday how we played. It just feels like we are a bipolar club at the moment, and that's the frustrating thing, right? Is we know we have the capability to perform like that. But we don't come out week in and week out and play like that. It's just like every once in a while we'll get those performances, and we just need. But we can't complain too much, right? We're undefeated in the last 6, all things considered. So
no, definitely a big win.
Happy with that. And I don't know if there's any other big surprises, to be honest. I think
for me it was Watford.
Yeah, Watford.
I was going to say,
I forgot about that.
5-2 over Everton. You're down 2-1 in the 78th.
What is with the capitulation of teams in like the last 15 to 10 minutes?
Everton just got dismantled. Josh King, Emmanuel Dennis, both brilliant on the day, but credit to Ranieri getting his boys to never give up. 5 goals for Watford and not one involvement from Sarr definitely frustrated me, but bigger picture, they thoroughly deserved the win by the final whistle. It was dominant. It was dominant by them.
Yeah, it was surprising to say the least. Ben, Norwich City are on track to have the least amount of points in Premier League history by any team ever.
Yes.
Is there anything this team can do to turn it around?
How big of a budget do you have in January? You're Norwich City, right? Like, there's no.
Well, that's the thing is they already invested fairly heavily for Norwich City in the summer coming in.
And they got big money from Buendia, right? To Villa, 35 mil, I believe it was.
Yep.
And
spent it on Rashica. Who else?
Yep. They got Brandon Williams on loan from Manchester United.
Yeah, that midfielder. I can't remember his name.
But either way, it's not working out. Whatever they're doing, it's not working out. You can sack the manager, but I think it looks a little bit deeper than that. Like, the problems are within the squad. There's no belief. There's no.
I don't know. I feel like they need to sack the manager, right? Like, they gave Farka, they gave him so much last time. They didn't sack him at all when they went down. He just stayed with him, and then
he brought them back up. And
I don't know. I think it's maybe time for a change there, to be honest. Unless they're okay with just being this yo-yo club that goes down, comes up, goes down, comes up.
That's kind of where they've been for the longest time. And then Newcastle's the real surprising one, especially seeing how much they just got bought for and the amount of money they have that's going to be invested. If they're still in relegation zone come the turn of the calendar year, that's going to be a really, really interesting story.
Well, we didn't talk about that, Ben. The sacking of Bruce happened after we recorded our last pod. So yeah, Bruce has now left the Newcastle United team. They were with an interim manager this week, and they have yet to appoint a long-standing manager to move them forward. I think there were whispers of Eddie Howe, the old manager for Bournemouth. And I haven't heard any other names as of yet. That was the leading one last time I checked in on that. But I think the table's starting to shape up a little bit how it's good. These three, this is going to be the best table race that we've seen in the last 5-6 years, I think.
Yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool, and City all just essentially dominating everyone they come up against and then drawing each other more or less, except City did beat Chelsea. Yeah,
And
it's just basically
City beat Chelsea and they're in third right now. That's the craziest part, right?
And everyone's just they're in third by what, 1 point to Liverpool. They're all just waiting for someone to slip up. It's who's going to make a mistake first is basically what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
And obviously, West Ham moving on up, Brighton still hanging around there. Obviously, Brighton playing Liverpool this coming weekend I think that could be a low scoring game, honestly. And then
Liverpool's
Spurs
at home,
losing.
so I don't know. But
yeah, maybe not. But
if they were away, maybe.
And United now
look how the tides have turned, Ben. It was Arsenal are terrible, and now we're tied on points with United.
Yeah, no. Relegation threatened Arsenal are level on points with title contenders Manchester United. It's absolutely wild how the media works.
Do you think Ollie will be gone before the end of this week?
I think he should be.
Yeah.
I think he should be, and I'm seeing a lot of Antonio Conte rumors floating around on Twitter.
I saw that as well. I did see mentioned that Conte typically does not like taking jobs in the middle of the season.
But it might be a special exception when Manchester United are on the phone. It is one of the biggest clubs in world football, and you don't get many opportunities at a job like that. So, and also, is someone going to go to United for a short-term stint till the end of the season? Like, who would take that job right now?
Mm-hmm.
So it might be tough, might be difficult, but Manchester United have the money to spend. Huge one with Spurs this weekend too. So that'll be a fun one to watch, see which team basically, Spurs were and fell out of it, lost to West Ham, and now Spurs been getting just passed around by every club in London, just smacking them up, honestly.
Yeah, but they've lost Chelsea, us, West Ham, and Crystal Palace. Yeah, that's tough. Just
absolutely.
We can most certainly say that London is not white. We'll tell you that much.
No, the only thing white about London is Arsenal center back now.
All right, well, let's get into the results, Ben. It was a absolutely insane week, as you already said, from a just Premier League point of view and, FPL. It was wild. It is probably one that showed the most variance that we've seen all year in terms of scores. So let's get into the Friday night fixture, Ben. We get to start off with a hot one. Last week we had to wait till the end to talk about how badly our team performed, and this week we get to start off talking about how well we performed.
Yeah, that was another thing that really impressed me was Arsenal played their game last week on Monday night and then got given the Friday night fixture this week. So obviously coming off a very short rest, a couple of changes to the team with Lacazette coming into the side, starting as almost in a 4-4-2, but Laka would kind of drop into a number 10. And he was just brilliant on the night, as were all of Arsenal, to be fair, for the first half. Aubameyang missing a penalty, scoring the rebound. Thomas Partey finally scoring his first Arsenal goal.
Finally.
And then probably the man of the match again, Emile Smith-Rowe. I
love that man, bro. I thought about wearing the jersey again, but I thought it'd be overkill.
You should have. No,
I wore it last pod.
That doesn't matter. I wear a jersey every pod.
Yeah, but you have like 100 jerseys.
Okay, maybe. But Smith-Rowe again, almost taking. Don't forget that Villa bid like $20 million for him in the summer, and I think he took it personally in this game because he bodied them. Matty Cash was lost trying to defend him. There was no one on their team that could keep up with his pace, his decision making. And then Villa just on the day looked really lost. Their strikers, they started both Watkins and Ings. If you told me they weren't playing the first half, I would have believed you because I don't think they had more than 10 touches between the two of them. Martinez. Oh, welcome back. This time you can talk about Arsenal in your interview. You got the penalty save, but it wasn't enough.
Hey, he did all he could, to be fair.
He did all on the penalty.
We can talk trash about him, but he did all he could.
On Partey's goal, I thought his positioning was very poor, and then Smith-Rowe deflection, not much chance for him on that.
Yeah.
But
this was an interesting one because, Villa typically give us a tough game. We
haven't beaten them in a year and a half or something.
And I think this is the end of them playing three at the back, to be honest. I think they need to get more in the midfield because, to be honest, most of this game was won in the midfield. Our midfield completely dominated them. Smith-Rowe and Partey, with Lokonga as well helping Partey out, was completely dominant.
Lokonga was insane. And then also a special shout for Nuno Tavares, the left back for Arsenal.
Looked so good.
21 years old, $8 million or something we got him for. That's highway robbery if he plays like that on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Well, you got a little carried away and said, "Does he stay in? Does he stay in?" I'm like, come on now, come on.
I don't think I'm that insane for. I've seen other people having that debate. How can you drop him after a performance like that?
Tierney's still the man.
I know Tierney's still the man, but
No, I love it. I love the competition. I love that it's even remotely a conversation, right?
The thing, do you go with form or do you go with the guy who's been solid for you forever? So we'll see. But Aubameyang, I think he's up to 10.0 again. He was at 9.9. I think he's up to 10.0 for in fantasy. It's looking like an asset again. He's looking like an asset with that Lukaku injury.
I mean, last year, I think so many people, Aubameyang is off the radar for them because last year Aubameyang did, to be fair, have a really poor season.
Yeah, by his standards.
From his standards. And this year it's looking like he's getting back in form a little bit. Arsenal is starting to purr a little bit, and we're starting to show some form from our main man up front. So if he continues like that, within a few weeks, I could see Aubameyang in a lot of teams. Especially because we still have, it's not the best run ever of fixtures, but it's certainly not a tough one. So
no, other than Liverpool in a couple of weeks, there are some very good fixtures for Arsenal. For Aston Villa, I think that they go on a bit of a tougher run here soon. I might be mistaken.
I think they're kind of in the midst of their tough run.
Yeah, so might be good to stay away. Good to see Leon Bailey back. He had the assist, but that goal was all Jacob Ramsey. Let's call it what it was.
It's crazy to me, right, that in FPL, a goalie can concede 3 goals
hit 10
and hit 10 points.
Yeah.
Like the penalty saves feels so overworked in the bonus system to me because he came off on 2 bonus points, having conceded 3 goals just because he saved 1 penalty. I think that needs to be looked at, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The thing that really kills me too is like he saved it, but it was scored right after, so it's not like he prevented the goal fully. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he hit it out and went right back to Alba, who collected and tapped in. Yeah. So I mean, good for Martinez owners if you have him. You got a big 10-pointer out of him, and that's awesome. Yeah. But this day was all about Arsenal. All about Arsenal.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think we actually said this a while ago, to be fair, but Smith Rowe is looking like the pick even over Saka. I think like. Even if they were the same price, I would be going with Smith Rowe, you know? And I think a lot of times in FPL, we have the tendency to go with the more expensive pick just because FPL priced them higher. We think they're the better player. But if I were picking one of the two, it'd be Smith Rowe all day, every day.
Yeah, 5.5 now. He was at there to start, went down to 5.3, back to 5.5, and
I mean, I had him. We both had him in our teams at the beginning of the season, and just didn't come off, so we had to take him out. But he's finally showing that form we backed him for. So
no, he's been absolutely insane.
Yeah,
just like nothing short of. I mean, he's the engine in that midfield right now. Or if he's playing off the left, he's doing everything. So
yeah, and I know we conceded again, but I really don't fault our defense for that. That was a great goal that was scored by Ramsey.
Inch perfect
if
goal.
You have Ramsdale, I know it feels a little bit frustrating because Sanchez has gotten a couple clean sheets in the last 2 games, but he obviously didn't get one this week.
Awesome. He did get 2 bonus points though.
Yeah, but it's fine. I still like our defense long term. I think there's a lot of value there for a fantasy perspective. So yeah, did you have anything else to say about this game? I was impressed by the way Arteta had our boys up for it, and specifically, I think Lacazette was the man of the match for me. I think the way I know he came off early and didn't actually participate on the score sheet, but he drew the penalty that Aubameyang ended up putting away, and the positions he was getting into to lead our attack and the way he was helping. I just think Aubameyang, when Lacazette is on the pitch, has an extra gear that he goes to in terms of energy.
He's playing with his best friend out there, and that's always going to hype someone up. So they're really good friends on and off the pitch, and it really showed in this game. Just dominant from both of them. I thought Lokonga, specifically after basically giving away a goal at Palace with a bad back pass, was terrific because he even said after the game, he's like, I want to get back out there as quick as I can and play the next one. And he did, and proved everyone like, I can still play. So yeah, good on him. Good on Arsenal.
Good game for the Gunners. Let's hopefully we continue that form.
Yeah. And then this one, I'll let you take over. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let you take over.
You just want me to say everything on this one? All right.
Just go for it.
We're just going to go ahead and get into it because, this is what the people came to see anyways, right?
I know. I don't even need to be here. Just go for it.
I decided with the Lukaku injury that the Lukaku and Werner injury, so that's the key here, that, the original transfer that everybody had planned for this week was, if you hadn't already done it, Ronaldo to Lukaku, And I was even thinking about, I know I mentioned this to you, is taking out Ronaldo and Antonio for both Lukaku and Werner, but obviously both were injured, both unavailable for what looks to be at least 2 to 3 weeks. I think Werner's is a bit more worse than Lukaku's, or actually no, vice versa. I think Lukaku's a little bit worse than Werner's. So my transfers this week were, as discussed previously, I took Ronaldo out for Vardy, which I thought was going to be my only play, and then midweek both Lukaku and Werner get injured. So I'm like, okay, they have literally one option to play number 9 for them. I think Chelsea are going to score huge in this game against Norwich at home.
And they did.
And they did exactly that. They won 7-0. And I brought in and decided to captain Kai Havertz. And he is the only player for Chelsea, including Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who came off the bench, to have 0 FPL returns whatsoever in this game. All the defenders got a clean sheet. 2 of them scored a goal. 1 of them got an assist. Mount scored 3 goals and had an assist. And Kovacic had 2 assists. Hudson-Odoi had a goal. And, it is what it is. I do not regret my decision whatsoever. I don't. And we're going to get to the Liverpool game. Obviously, that made it way, 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 way worse for me. But the logic was 100% sound. And all you can do this game week, I told you already, it really humbled me back into thinking, hey, this is a fantasy game. So much of it is luck-based. You can plan all you want. And I do think there is definitely more skill in a game like this than there is in, American fantasy football, because so much rides on just your original draft, whereas in this game, you can change your team throughout the season repetitively, and you even get 2 chances throughout the season.
The fact that everyone can have the same players.
Right.
We both have, I think we both have Rudiger right now. That's not a thing in American.
Right, exactly. And so I do think there is a bit more skill involved in this game, but at the end of the day, it is still so much luck-based. And it's just unlucky that they scored 7 goals and Kai Havertz was not involved in a single one of them. So it's tough, man. It's definitely tough on a week like this. It hurt. I won't lie. It definitely hurt, but I can't go back and change it. The thing that haunts me a little bit is that I was between my thought process was either because I didn't make the Vardy transfer. I made my transfers at the same time. It's not like I made the Vardy transfer earlier in the week and then I made the Kai Havertz transfer. Mm-hmm. I saved them both to the end. So my thought process was, okay, I can take Ronaldo and Sarr out for either Jamie Vardy and Kai Havertz or Harry Kane and Mason Mount. And I chose the Vardy and Kai Havertz. And had I brought in Mount, I would not have been comfortable enough to captain him this week. So my captaincy would have been on Mo Salah. Yeah. So, ouch. I mean, that's all I got to say is ouch. Is just ouch. Tough. And well played to Chelsea. They completely and utterly dominated this Norwich side. Obviously, the red card to Gibson did not help. But at the end of the day, all I can do is laugh here. And hats off to anybody that brought in Mason Mount. I know he was discussed pretty heavily 2 weeks ago on the pod. Mm-hmm. Brighton actually brought him up, and I was talking to her this week. She was so upset she didn't listen to herself and bring him in. So it is what it is. But yeah, Mason Mount owners, well done. Chilwell looks to be the absolute pick in defense. God, I wish I would have held my wild card before he was
nailed.
Before he was nailed. And that's if you're picking one Chelsea defender, I would be comfortable enough going Chilwell only. I think having the double up of Chilwell and Rudiger is probably best for this run of fixtures because they still got a lot more to go that are good. But that's 3 games, 3 goals for Ben Chilwell, bro.
Yeah, he's been tearing it up. And yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Havertz was the one that didn't return. It's all luck. I think this was the first time Mount scored in a Premier League game in like 25 games or something. Yeah. So like, it really is like, I know everyone's like, oh, I'm so big on Mount. His price has already risen again. And I'm like, what if he goes another 25 game goalless streak, right? Like you never know.
Or I don't see that. I actually like Mount as a asset going forward.
Well, right now without the forwards.
But that's the best game he's going to have all season, let alone maybe even his career. So,
It
happens. It happens. What it is. I did say I messaged in the group. I thought about very briefly bringing in Callum Hudson-Odoi just because of his price, and I knew he'd be starting up front because it's very clear at this point that Tuchel does not trust. Wow, I'm blanking. Help me.
What are you talking about?
The midfielder from Ajax. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, Ziyech.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ziyech, yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty positive that Hudson-Odoi is going to start. But
Ziyech looked like a waste of money. Is Norwich the worst team to ever be in the Premier League?
We'll find out, right? I told you that the least amount of points ever scored by a team in Premier League history is 10. I think. So
something like that.
They have two right now after 9 games.
What team are they going to beat?
And it's very difficult to see any team that they could possibly beat. So yeah, it's looking bleak for them to say the least. And Chelsea just continue to look really, really good. And, you know,
that's what they do.
That's what it is. Continue to monitor the injury for Lukaku and Werner. I think Lukaku may be back a bit sooner. I don't anticipate him to be back next week. But he may be back the week after that. So
I do think that with the run of fixtures too, they might hold off Lukaku and Werner in the Premier League and keep them in Champions League because they did lose to Juventus and they want to try to finish top of their group. So
yeah. Okay.
We'll see.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say about this game, Ben?
We gotta get to other games. We gotta get to other games.
All right. Crystal Palace to Newcastle.
Benteke again.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had 2. He hit the post with a header early in the first half too. The season candidate from Callum Wilson in this game.
You cut out there for a second. Go back and say
he's been on fine form. Oh, sorry. I said Benteke almost had a bracy at the post in the first half, and then Wilson with the goal of the season candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, that was just world class, but kind of a dud game. I know you have Gallagher. He was my player pick this week, and he always is involved in the stuff, but couldn't really get anything going in this game. I mean, not much to talk about from a fantasy perspective. Wilson is once again the main man at Newcastle. St. Maximin.
And we thought that would happen, right? You know, we were all on St. Maximin. We were talking about him, but the advice was always, you know, but if Wilson comes back, he's no longer that great of an asset. So
no. So Wilson's the guy, and he's proving to be. I think is that back-to-back weeks he's gotten a goal in, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So back-to-back weeks he scored in. He could be someone if you're looking to potentially move Antonio out after. I think Antonio has another good fixture this week, and then it's looking pretty difficult for him. Well, not that Spurs was a good fixture, but he literally always scores against them and did again.
Yeah, we said it last week that he always scores against Spurs.
Always scores against Spurs. Other than that, Crystal Palace, how long-term are you trying to keep Gallagher? Because he's in your team.
I don't know. Well, obviously they play City this week, so Gallagher will be on my bench this week.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
But after that, they have another 3 good games, and I'll show their fixtures later when I pull up my team. But I'm not looking to move him out immediately, especially because the guy that I was thinking about bringing in for him was Brian Mbeumo. I think it's actually pronounced. I've heard the announcer say Mbeumo. I think that's actually how it's pronounced, even though it looks like Mbeumo. Whatever. Yeah. You know who we're talking about. He was going to be the guy that I probably moved him towards because they're around the same price, and he came off injured. So we'll get to that. We'll need to monitor that. But I'm not in a rush to get Gallagher out of my team at the moment. I still think he's a good asset. I'm starting to get a little iffy on him because it seems like he's come off a good bit of set pieces. It looks like he's not on corners that much anymore. He is occasionally taking them still, but he's not on corners a whole lot. And then now that they're playing this front 3 of this week, Elise came into the team on the right. So it was Benteke up top, and then it was Elise on the right, and then the new man on the left. And I don't know. It doesn't look like Gallagher's like really bursting into the box. It doesn't really look like he is leading the line as much, like, because at the beginning of the season everything seemed to be going through him in the attack, and it seems like it's waned off a little bit. I still like him, but I'm not as wild on him as I was earlier in the season, and so he may be one that's moving out sometime soon. But I've got a lot of fires in my team right now, man. After this week, so. Yeah,
I got to watch my injuries with Vardy and Mbeumo, so we'll see how it goes. But
no, I'm not panicking on him. I still, Wilson isn't a bad pick, but at the end of the day, he plays for Newcastle United, so you just need to know that. Benteke, it's interesting to me how he always seems to find form on...
He goes on a run. When he scores in bunches.
Well, and this is the interesting thing, right, is people have been critical of him, saying he only finds form the last couple years when he's in negotiations for a contract or when there's stiff competition.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I mean that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's what he does. It's what he does like all the time. But when he does score, he typically scores like on a run of fixtures. So
do you think he'll start next week? Is my question to you, because
City,
obviously
I don't think it matters who much starts against City because I don't back Palace to score, to be honest with you.
Okay, but let me rephrase the question. Zaha's going to come back into the team next week. He came on the pitch later. This week, and with Zaha back, that would imply that he's playing off the left. So do you think Benteke starts up top for them still?
I think he has to start over Edouard at the moment with the form he's in, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Watford. Oh, man. You see Watford score 5, and we both have Sarr in our team, and you're like, of course, he had at least
I got rid of Sarr this week, so this could have been real brutal. This game week was the week from hell for me, and it could have been even worse.
I still have Sarr. I said last week, I'm like, I think Watford could actually surprise Everton, and good Lord, did they.
Mm-hmm.
But I also expected Sarr not to get subbed off and hopefully go into the goal-scoring fest that happened in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was Joshua King. A hat trick, every goal taken very well, composed, neat finish. And then Emmanuel Dennis, the transfer from Belgium. I believe he's Nigerian, but he played in Belgium. 1 goal, 2 assists. I think both of his assists were to King as well. Those were the 2 main hauls for this side.
Yeah.
Don't expect Watford to hang 5 on every opponent they play.
No.
Ever. This is a very one-off week. Mm-hmm. But Everton kind of looking like really, really poor this game.
Well, they really struggled without Decore, Ben.
Yeah, well, Davies is the Decore replacement, and he scored. So, like...
Yeah, but Davies doesn't provide the defensive qualities that Decore does, or the
size
energy
and physicality. Yeah, but he did get the goal. Richarlison came on and immediately scored a diving header. Might have even been his first touch of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Everton seemed lost without a true striker, without their main guy, Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin. Salman Rondon has been getting the reps for them at striker. He's been one of Rafa Benitez's favorite players for I don't know how long, basically since Benitez had him at West Brom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he is still his favorite player. He really bought him into Everton, which is like a complete manager choice pick, but he's not even close to getting the job done for Everton right now. Yeah. It's just been bad.
No, I agree. It does look bleak for Everton at the moment. Ready? I'm going to say the word capitulation. I got it right that time. Yeah. But yeah, it looked bad for them. I don't know how you can be up 2-1 in the 77th minute and lose a game 5-2. I mean,
well, you know what they did in the 78th minute? Subbed off Damari Gray. Brought on Alex Iwobi.
I think that the key was subbed on Alex Iwobi.
Brought on Iwobi, took off Damari. It was one of the funniest. It's not like I love Iwobi. He played at Arsenal a long time. I wish him to have success, and he really hasn't had it since he left Arsenal for Everton. Yeah. But it was one of the funniest Twitter threads because it was just 78. We've made a substitution. Iwobi on, Gray off, and then it was 80th minute. Watford equalized. 82nd, Watford lead 3-2. Yep. 85th or whatever, Watford 4-2. 94th, Watford 5-2. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, good Lord, what a bad sub that looks to be. Yeah. But I mean, they totally did. They collapsed, and once Watford equalized, it just seemed like Everton completely gave up even trying for a point because Watford were just every play they were in. Pickford did the most. It wasn't even on Pickford. He did everything he could. Had a really good save to even keep it a 1-goal game at one point. But yeah, just really, really bad if you're Everton. Not something you want to see as a fan, seeing your team capitulate like that, and then the manager
at home too. It wasn't even away. It was at home.
2-1 lead with 12 minutes plus added time left, and you watch your team give up 4 goals. I mean, as a manager, that's got to be beyond infuriating. So we'll see what happens with them. They had a great start to the season, and now they're kind of doing what Everton does every year. They start strong. Everyone's like, oh, could we be back? Could they be in Europe? Could they be a top 4? And then they go on a terrible run of form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think we're in the midst of that right now.
Yeah. Well, I think, we saw a little bit of a manager bounce here from Ranieri's boys, and it was impressive for them to come take this win. King and Dennis continue to be the strikers of choice. Obviously, we do know they're both cheap. Did Dennis start this game? I'm not even sure. I know João Pedro is back in the team as well. So
João Pedro subbed on, I believe, for Salah. Okay. I think Dennis did start.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I think if I had to choose one of the two, it'd be King for sure.
It's got to be King. He's the playing through the middle. Dennis a little bit more to the right. King's the guy
I still think there's maybe better options there around that price. I would be more tempted for like a Hwang from Wolves, or even we've got Broha at 5 million striker for Southampton now. Just so
taken over apparently.
Yep. So yeah, great game from Watford. Do you have anything else to say on this one?
No, not really. We can move on.
Okay, sweet. Leeds Wolves 1-1.
Yeah, so you just mentioned Hwang scored again. Very lucky goal, call it what it was.
Yeah.
Shot came in, took a deflection off of the defender and sat at his feet in front of an open net. But they all count the same, even in FPL.
Yes, they do, as Phil Foden owners know, right, Ben?
Oh, yeah, we do. It's so funny because we'll get there. I'll save it.
Yeah.
And then Leeds, super last minute, I forget, they subbed on they subbed him on Gelhardt, some super young kid, comes on, does well, gets in the box, and Semedo makes a clumsy challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Rodrigo scores the goal, and Leeds escape with a point that they really didn't deserve, to be quite honest, on the balance of the game.
Yeah.
But it's two lower mid-table sides battling. It's not that relevant in terms of the table right now. Wolves were on a good bit of form, and this does kind of, I don't know if it puts an end to it, but it's tough for them after that huge, just like, just like joy you have after coming back 2-0 down to 3-2, winning in the last 10 minutes last week, and then you give up the game in the last minute this week. So you see both sides of it for them. And then Leeds, once again, just, I don't know, really just such a disappointing team this year. I know there's injuries and no Bamford, and Rafinha got hurt, but he's already posted saying he's fine and he'll be back. But a very, very difficult year so far for Leeds.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, man. I still back them. I think they'll make a surge to get the 6th place that I predicted them for the start of the season.
I think you're wrong.
I don't know, man.
I will put money that they don't finish 6th.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I think Hwang is a decent FPL pick. Still 5.5. Actually, did he rise to 5.6? Yeah,
I think he's 5.6.
And Jimenez still the main man in my opinion, but I can definitely understand saving if you need that, cheap forward. I think the two options, well, I guess 3. There's Josh King, Hwang, and Broha from Southampton, which we're about to get into if you don't have anything else to say on this game.
No, go for it. Let's dive into the Burnley game.
Yeah, so 2-2 Southampton draw Burnley at home at St. Mary's. The FPL boy wonder Livramento with a goal.
Oh, dude, he
could have had 2. He could have had 2.
Railed, just absolutely smashed the post.
Yeah.
It was curving left, and it even came back like towards him, meaning it hit the inside of the post and bounced out.
Yeah.
So incredibly unlucky on that one, but then he scored 3 minutes later with a header.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats to him on his first Premier League goal. I think he's up to 4-3 or 4-4 right now. Is he 4-3 or 4-4?
I don't even know.
I don't know. We got him at 4-0, and he's not leaving my team.
That's probably our pick of the season, right? I know. Episode
we started
2
with Tamiskas.
Yeah, episode 2. I said get Livramento in your team because he's the best 4.0 defender in the game, and he has certainly proved me right. So
he's everything.
Good on him. I did not get his points this week. Kind of hurts. Actually, really hurts. Mm-hmm. But I don't really regret benching him either because the thought process was that they would concede to Burnley, and they conceded twice.
They did. So.
Yeah, and Maxwell Cornet, Ben, what a player! Especially that second goal. Wow,
the second goal was incredible. He's the opposite of what you expect Burnley players to be, and we talked about that before we started recording.
Mm-hmm.
He's got such a swagger about him, almost this like confident arrogance, almost of like a Zaha or that's kind of how I was gonna say
Zaha.
He's got that little like chip on his shoulder, like I know I can do this thing, Mm-hmm. And good Lord, has he shown it for Burnley? And his header was pinpoint. His volley over the left, like over his shoulder.
Sandwich in between two defenders, volleyed it in near post and beat McCarthy easy. It was just it was a great goal. And
so it was insane. He's a 6.0 midfielder, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is he 6.0 or 6.5?
6.0.
So he's been the guy for Burnley. We're not seeing We're not seeing their strikers
Chris
put
Wood.
anything.
Yeah.
Barnes. I was saying Ashley Barnes, but yeah, same thing. Neither of them have been bagging lately. It's been all Cornet. So Burnley don't score much, but when they do, it's been the man from Lyon. So good on him.
Yeah. And then the other FPL talking point here is Broha, obviously.
I'll let you handle it. Yeah,
I cannot get a single FPL pick right this year, Ben. I can't do it. I'm losing every 50-50. I'm calling heads every time, and it's landing tails, bro.
Yeah.
It just hurts. So much pain, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Broha has come into this team as of last week and scored twice consecutively, keeping Armstrong on the bench both games, who was their big boy signing in the summer. And this boy wonder loanee from Chelsea has...
I don't think he's a loanee. I think they bought him outright.
No, he's loanee. He's loaned.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh.
So yeah, he's loaned, and he's doing the business for him. He scored a great goal this week, shooting across net low, and like you said earlier when you were talking about it, just a classic center forward finish right there. Just a great composure to put that ball in the net, and he is 5 million in FPL. Southampton still have a good run of fixtures. He could be one to look at. I can't see him getting dropped at the moment. It looks like him and Redmond are playing as a kind of a two up top together recently for Hasenhüttl. So I think they look solid. You know, I said 2 weeks ago before they started this run of fixtures, Southampton started off poorly this year and had a lot of tough fixtures, and they're going to go into a good run. They're going to be looking to score goals. They're going to be looking to pick up 3 points. Obviously, they drew this week.
Probably should have if it wasn't for a Cornet screamer. But
right. So yeah, I think he's a good pick. I think he's solid. I think he's one that you can absolutely look at from FPL is Broha. So yeah, do you have anything else to say about this game?
Not really. Just Cornet really been impressing me. He was someone that when they signed him, he was playing left back for Lyon.
Yeah.
And if he had gone into FPL as a defender, I think I mentioned this
you did.
Or two, and I was like, if he's a defender, keep it on him. But he came in as like a 6-0 midfielder, and I'm like, no. But now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of injuries in the midfield to our kind of cheap midfielders at the moment. So he's definitely not a horrible pick.
A lot of picks. No, I don't. I mean, I like it. But anyways, we can move on to. Okay. I think this was the final game of Saturday.
Go ahead, talk about your boy, your butt wonder.
Oh, yeah, what a goal. What a second goal by Phil Foden. Absolute masterclass. You don't find people doing it like that these days.
I hate you.
What's really funny to me is 2 weeks ago before I brought in Foden, right? I put a poll out. So Chris and I both run the Borderline FPL Twitter account, which shameless plug, go follow it right now. I'll tell you again at the end of the episode if you forget, but go follow it. And I put a poll out because they were the same price, Jack Grealish and Phil Foden, right? They were both 7.9 million. I put a poll out and I go, if you're bringing in one City midfielder right now, who do you bring in? Jack Grealish, Phil Foden. Guess who won the poll? By a lot, I believe.
Grealish?
Grealish was getting last I saw it. It was like very Jack Grealish heavy. The way it went.
Shot. I would have said Foden all day, every day.
Yeah. So I disregarded what the poll said and picked up Phil Foden, and he had a masterclass this game. The second goal obviously is pure luck, right place, right time. It definitely took a deflection off of him. Would it have gone in without that? Maybe. I can't fully say yes to that, but probably. It looked like the shot was going in, but obviously the slight deflection off of Foden kind of froze Sanchez, and it went in the back of the net. He took his goal pretty well. A nice assist from Grealish, funny enough. And then I think, he had the assist for Mahrez as well.
Yep.
So Foden, masterclass. I also have Sanchez instead of Ramsdale just because I typically like the way that Brighton defend and don't concede shots to teams that aren't Man City and Liverpool, which is they play the next 2 weeks, which is fun. So he got 2 bonus points as well, which was really nice for me. But, I mean, this game was all about one man, and that was Phil Foden. And he kind of seems to have taken over that number 9 spot for Man City in the Premier League. He's been starting week in, week out. And I'm not saying he's nailed because everyone thought Torres was nailed. And now Torres, obviously, he's injured. But, when he wasn't injured, he still got dropped. So you can never say he's nailed. But Foden definitely seems to be Pep's favorite right now at that number 9 spot.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about this last week, right? Is I gave you kind of the statistics, and outline of, a lot of people were not big on Foden for FPL because at the end of last season when he really started to find form, he was only playing in the Champions League. Beginning of this season, he was hurt, and people forgot how I think he is absolutely a part of it. If Pep, was to build his best 11 for a one-off game, Phil Foden would be in that team.
Phil Foden's in it. Phil Foden's in it. He started the Champions League final, didn't he?
I don't think he did, actually.
I thought he did.
No, you're right. He did. He did.
Yeah, he started it. So there is your one-off most important game, right? And he was playing in it. So Pep loves Foden. Foden obviously been in the City system since he was like 6 or 7. So he knows the club. He knows how they want to play. He grew up in it, and he's just outstanding, and he did it again. Gundogan with the goal, very lucky goal, in my opinion. Sanchez should have just grabbed the first one. And then Mahrez comes on and gets a goal of his own. But that was, for Mahrez, that's
the extra dagger. There's so many daggers for me this week.
I'll let you take this side of it.
The clean sheet wipeout just hurts, man.
It was a really bad foul by Ederson to give. It looked like the Brighton player had gone beyond an angle where he could shoot, and Ederson completely took his legs out. And then beyond that, Ederson did get 2 hands to McAllister's penalty, but just couldn't, pushed it up into the corner almost.
Yeah.
So very unlucky on that.
Well, yeah, congrats as a Phil Foden owner. I'm gonna call him butt owner for the rest of the.
Call me what you want, but don't call me broke, boy. I got 18 points off that butt goal, bro.
Yeah, you did.
And then this one was really disappointing. Oh, this one was disappointing.
Why was this disappointing?
Vardy's injury, as well as Mbeumo.
You were cutting out so much this week. You got to repeat that. You just cut out again.
Sorry, dude. You're a Vardy owner. You're a new Vardy owner as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we both feel that. I have Mbeumo as well, whose injury doesn't look as serious as Vardy's. I'm still waiting on midweek updates from both of them. I believe both of these teams are still in the League Cup, so I don't think either of them will play in that. Even if they are in the League Cup, they won't play. But yeah, Vardy going off at halftime with an injury. I heard that he was injured a little bit, feeling like tightness in his thigh almost in warm-ups, but he's like, I'm good to play. Got to halftime, and he's like, no, I can't go. So hopefully it's not that serious. If he was feeling good enough to play then, hopefully he'll be good enough by this coming weekend. But Leicester have another striker coming through the ranks, and it's not Iheanacho. It's Daka. And I know that Daka scored or assisted in this game, but in the Europa League last Wednesday, he scored 4. And they won 4-3. So they know they have another capable striker on the bench, which is why I'm more concerned for Vardy, because they might think we can get away without Vardy for a week if we play Daka.
Yeah.
So definitely one to keep an eye on. Obviously, I think they would love to have Vardy. And they're playing Arsenal this week, so I almost hope they don't play Vardy because he scores against us we could be up 8-0 and he would find a way to score against us. I swear to God.
Yeah, he's the Antonio to Spurs for us for sure.
We are. Literally, he scored. Even if we beat them, I promise you, Vardy will be on the score sheet. Yeah. It's inevitable. He is inevitable against Arsenal.
Yeah.
So, and then Brentford are about to go into a really nice run of fixtures.
Yeah, they are. Well, that's probably, and we'll get to our team later on, but I think a man named Adam Armstrong will be leaving my team this week for a man named, up top.
Ivan Toney?
Yeah.
Ivan Toney coming back in?
Probably. But we'll see. I gotta, monitor the injuries of Vardy and Rafinha in my team at the moment, so we'll see.
You could always just bring in Broha from Southampton, for.
I could, but then based on my luck so far this season, then Armstrong would start. Yeah,
and then not only would he start, he would bag.
Yeah.
So
So
clear the road, but I really like. We'll get into it more when we get to our teams. I really like Mbeumo, and I really like Toney for the upcoming Brentford fixtures.
I agree with you.
Brentford defense isn't bad.
I agree with you
as well. This is a fun one. I like this one.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, I mean, he's inevitable. We literally said it on the pod last week. We said Antonio's going to score.
We kind of glazed over it, but we were both just like, look, if they're going to score, it's going to be Antonio because it's what he does.
And it wasn't even like a normal goal for him. It was off a corner, and he still scored. So he loves.
I think West Ham has scored the most goals off of corners than anyone in the Prem this season, or off of set pieces maybe, or maybe it date back to last season. But I know they're very good at set pieces.
Yeah.
Which kills me that Zuma didn't get a goal yet, but he's probably going to leave my team, but I'll get into that later. But he did get a clean sheet. He did get a bonus point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, he didn't get a bonus point. Antonio got it. They were level and they gave it to Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, a clean sheet for Zuma made me very happy personally, seeing as his last week in my team, and he's gone out on a high note. So I'm really proud of him. For Spurs, do you see any upside in bringing in Harry Kane against a battered Man United defense?
Yes.
Still, even with his body language,
I don't know.
Even with his body language and his lack of,
I don't know. This is literally the battle of the broken next week. Spurs and United. They just like. Is it who plays at home? Spurs.
I think it's at Spurs. I think it's at Tottenham. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean I don't love the Harry Kane pick.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he'll be an option come game week 12 when their fixtures start to turn? Yes, because at the end of the day, regardless of whether he wants to be there or not, that may show like in his form against tougher clubs, but he can score with his eyes closed against these crappy clubs. So if Vardy is hurt, I'm going to be really kicking myself because I did consider bringing him in. Obviously,
that's luck at some point.
For sure.
Like or unlucky, I guess.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I still think the pick for Spurs, if you're picking one of them, is Son. Because he's cheaper. He plays in midfield. He's getting an extra point per goal. He gets the clean sheet point if they keep it, and he actually wants to be there for God knows why. But he's on
a long-term contract. Just like Kane.
So
he actually doesn't seem to hate the fact that he's on a long-term contract there.
Right. Yep. So yeah, I think he's the pick over Kane, and that could change. I think as FPL players, we typically would opt for Kane over Son, because Kane provides that more comfort in terms of if I'm going to captain this player, right? But captaincy is just out of the water for a conversation at all whatsoever because of this next game and this next man who we're going to talk about anyways.
Kane's on penalties, which gives you that as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think if you were going to captain one of them, you would always be more comfortable captaining Kane, but I still think Son is the better pick just based on form and just overall attitude. Attitude matters at the end of the day. It really does.
It does.
So
when you see a player who's the captain of his club shrugging his shoulders, walking around the pitch, kind of moping in a way.
Yeah. Dude, I saw this really awesome video today. And it was just a random Twitter video, but it was of this Down syndrome guy talking to his high school football team. And basically he's giving them like a speech before their game, and basically he ends it with saying the only disability in life is a bad attitude. And I just loved that.
It's terrific.
I just loved it. And so yeah, I think it matters at the end of the day, and I wouldn't be rushing to get Kane in, but I still think he will be on a lot of people's radars for game week 12. So
okay, but not next week against United.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's got to be better picks to bring in next week on a one-off than Kane. I mean, I can understand if you moved for him this week, given Lukaku's injury, or if you didn't want Ronaldo, I can understand bringing him in this week. But this next week, I don't see it. I don't understand how that could be a priority in anybody's team. So.
All right, let's get to the game heard around the world. Yeah. So
what a
game!
I
I kept the armband on Salah.
Yeah, as did most people.
And if you are one of us, congratulations, you got 48 points immediately. He's the best player in the world right now for me. And people can say Messi, yes, Messi like overall career wise is probably better, but right now, Mo Salah is playing better soccer.
Yeah, we've talked about it for 2 weeks, right?
So he's the best. Man United are, shambles for lack of a better term. Is it time for Ole out? Absolutely. I mentioned it last week.
It's been time for Ole out for 2 years, but they that's the thing about United, and this is actually a lot of the reason that went into my thinking, is they typically show up in the big games, right? Is Ole doesn't have great tactical analysis, as you've stated before, and I think a lot of people have, but it seems like their go-to is counterattack, and when they're playing bigger teams that are going to come at them, it seems like those games are the games that they show up for and they actually perform well in. And at home, Old Trafford, they're not looking that great. They need points. When Ollie's life is on the line previously, they almost always seem to come save him. So
Well, to be fair, they did in the midweek, right? They were down 2-0 to Atalanta at home. Fans were leaving Old Trafford. It was 2-0 at halftime. One of my really good friends is a big United supporter and one of my buddies, and they do sports betting and all. And he goes, should I bet United money line here at halftime? And even though they came back and won at halftime, he's like, don't waste your money. There's no, like, the way we look, the way we're playing, there's no chance. But they did. They found a way. And, of course, it was Ronaldo again with the decisive goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was Paul Scholes. And he was like, yeah, great fighting spirit after the Champions League win. He's like, great fighting spirit, great team win. Go out there and start that way against Liverpool on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Jurgen Klopp probably watched that first half and was licking his lips about how good his team can perform against a side like that. And let's also keep in mind, Liverpool didn't start Mane. Yeah. They didn't start Fabinho. They didn't start Matip, which I think that one, the Matip benching, is something that they want to progress to Konate.
Yeah, Konate looked good.
Konate is a terrific center back, and I think they are trying to push Matip down the pecking order and Konate up a little bit. They spent big money on him from Leipzig this summer, so I think he might be a more consistent starter, which is something to watch for FPL. Mm-hmm. But it was ugly. It was ugly off the jump, and it only got uglier. And then a Pogba red card as well, and he was smiling walking off the pitch. He doesn't seem to care. No one's playing for the manager. It's shambles to say the least. They're really missing Varane, to say the least.
Is Maguire the biggest waste of money ever defensively?
Yeah, 80 million. 80 million for that performance. Not just against this week against Liverpool. Look at last week against Leicester, the goal that I believe it was Daka scored against them. Maybe it wasn't Daka. Maybe it was.
No, it was Daka.
He's just standing there.
Yeah.
Against Atalanta, standing there. He's not good. Leicester robbed them, men. Leicester robbed them.
Yeah.
80 million pounds. I saw it was I believe it was Van der Vaart, the old Dutch center mid, and he was talking about when he was back in his playing days, and they were playing against Harry Maguire. I forget where he was playing, but he was playing against Harry Maguire. He said they got into halftime, his team was laughing about how bad he was. Like, Jay, this is the worst center back we played against. He has not been invited on Sky Sports since he said that in an interview. But apparently they were all basically in the locker room taking the piss and being I can't believe this guy's and then he said years later he saw he's the most expensive defender ever and couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Well, I one thing I wanted to highlight here is just from real, not FPL aside, the pass from Henderson to Salah. Oh,
that third,
dude! If Pogba makes that pass, people are talking about it for years.
If De Bruyne makes that pass, if Messi makes that pass, it's on every highlight reel. It's blowing up 100,000 likes on Twitter, right? It's everywhere.
So good.
It was incredible. And Salah's second touch, I thought he took it too far. The chip over De Gea. You can't even blame De Gea on the day. He was getting shot at from point blank range.
Yeah.
The defense is 200 million great pounds for that.
Yeah.
200 million pound defense, and you're getting ripped apart. And also, United did go down to 10 men, should have been down to 8. Bruno should have been sent off, and I'll die on this hill. Ronaldo should have been sent off for kicking Curtis Jones. The play was over. The ball was in his chest. And yes, he kicked the ball, but he knows what he's doing. Ronaldo should have been sent off, as should Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I mean, United have always, in my opinion, had a little bit of
I'd say more than a little bit. They get very favorable calls from referees.
Yeah, towards refs, and it's just, it's ridiculous. Ronaldo looked like a baby doing that to Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones, by the way, what a player!
Terrific.
He's so
came
good.
On for the injured Keita, fresh off the bench, cold, comes in and drops a classic performance.
Yeah, I don't know. This Liverpool team, I think we did underestimate them a little bit this season. With back to full strength, they've got the best player in the world. And this is what I'll say, right? I just want to start off by saying congrats to Salah captainers. I have no ill will towards you whatsoever because at the end of the day, he's a great pick. He's a great player. He's probably the best player in the world right now. But if any of you tried to convince me that you foresaw him scoring a hat trick at Man United, you're just blowing smoke, because he is the first player ever to score a hat trick away at United. So congrats to him. The man is on fire. He got the assist as well for the Kaiiiii goal, which he played him in very nicely. Was just on sides by Luke Shaw, and then played him in for Kaiiiii to slot that away. And I think he has absolutely, this week specifically, settled the captaincy debate for
Ever.
I don't know I'm not going to say the
Ever.
whole season, but man,
If you captain Salah for the rest of the season, he's not injured, I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, I for the next 10 weeks at least, we're not going to talk about captaincy on this podcast anymore.
It's
you
decided.
know who the player to captain is, and if you go against that, as I saw this week, you can be brutally destroyed in terms of FPL and in any game against any opponent. So
he is fixture proof. He is the best player in the world, and that is this week's games.
Yeah, that is, and I will go ahead and get this shambles over with, so you can show.
You want to go? Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, no, just let me do it.
Okay, all right.
You can bask in your glory, and I'll just.
Okay.
This is it, man. This is. I do have one regret for the game week, and I just overthought it, right? And that only regret is leaving Trent on the bench, and my thought process behind it was they're going away to United will at least get one goal, right?
And they did, but it was offside. Just barely, but it was.
And, at the end of the day, I can say the logic is there. This is the one where I won't give myself an excuse for, because the age-old saying in FPL is if you have to choose between starting a offensive player and a defensive player, start the offensive player, right? And so that was the logic that I used to start Adam Armstrong over Trent. But Trent is an offensive player. Like he is a midfielder classed as a defender, and he's a world-class player. So
best right back in the world for you?
In the world, no, because I don't think defensively he's not nearly as good as some right backs, but in terms of an attacking point of view, yes, absolutely, no question. So that's my one regret for the week. There it is in all its glory. The captaincy on Kaiiiii Havertz, the only player to blank in that Chelsea 7-0. So it hurts, man. And
you've got one transfer. What are you thinking of?
Dude, I don't know. Can I just hit delete season? Like, can that be my transfer?
No, you've already hit the wild card button. Sorry.
Good night, man.
Is it Armstrong out? Does it have to be Armstrong out?
It doesn't have to be. I'll show you how I'm lining up so these hurt, obviously, 1 pointer, 1 pointer, 1 pointer, 1 pointer. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
that's a shame about Ramsdale specifically, because it was like a perfect strike, or else he played a perfect
otherwise,
game.
He would have been in the bonus as well.
He should have. I think
he had 4 saves that game.
He's the English Ederson.
The one thing I did want to talk about. Well, actually, I'll get there. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick team. This is what I currently have on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
I
still no Livramento.
What? No,
is he in? That's Armstrong on the bench. My bad.
Yeah. So I mean, in at the end of the day, Livramento, he scored this week. He's not going to do that every week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I do like his fixture this week away at Watford, but they look a little bit better. So, but this is how I line up at the moment. My thoughts right now are Armstrong to Ivan Toney. I have 0.9 million in the bank. Gallagher, I'm not trying to get out at the moment. Obviously, he has City this week, but then he's got Wolves at home, Burnley away, Villa at home, Leeds away. So
good run.
He can stay a little bit longer. I want Adam Armstrong to freak out of my team. Pain. And
then you got to watch Vardy's injury, of course.
Yeah, I've got to watch Vardy's injury. Havertz in a couple weeks is going to have to go probably.
Yeah.
But he will stay for the next week at least, probably 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to roll a transfer at some point, but it's just I'm just putting out fire after fire recently, and I took a -4 this week to get Havertz in, and it didn't pay off. But when you play the variance game, you get punished sometimes, and I found that out this week. So, but I really like the way my defense lines up ahead of next week. I've got Diaz and Cancelo at home against Palace. I've got TAA at home against Brighton, and then Chelsea away to Newcastle. Livramento, if I bring in Toney, Livramento will probably be first on my bench, and I'll just put in Toney. And then obviously if Rafinha's hurt, Livramento will come back in. If Vardy's hurt, I don't typically like leaving that much money on my bench. So I may consider bringing him out, but I'm not set in stone on that either. So a lot to monitor throughout the week, and I'll make my decisions at the end. But yeah,
it is what it is.
It is, and it sucks for sure. But the only regret I have this week is not playing Trent. So
yeah, all right, I'll share.
Go
mine.
ahead and bring up your Wonder Week, brother.
So there's mine. I finished on 111 points this
Great
week.
Game week, dude.
Thank you. First time breaking 100 this year. Ended on 111. Sanchez with the 4-pointer. Back line all doing bits for me. Zuma with back-to-back clean sheets was almost in the bonus again. Like I said, he actually finished level with Antonio for the 1 bonus point, but they gave it to Antonio, which is cool because I have that covered. Livermento scoring a goal, 9 points without the clean sheet, still terrific for him. And Rudiger with a clean sheet and assist. Obviously, the bulk of my production comes from one man and one man only. That is the second best Egyptian in the Premier League, Mohamed Salah.
3 goals and an assist, man. Away at Old Trafford. That's crazy.
And Mbeumo, obviously, his injury. That's my problem right now is Mbeumo and Vardy's injuries. Because what I want to do is take Zuma out and bring in Trent this week. That's what I want to do with my transfer. But this is holding me up at the moment. Yeah. So I'm going to have to sit.
Do you have any bench cover? What's your bench cover?
I have Tierney, who is also potentially injured, and Sissoko.
Tierney, who, by the way, he left Rudiger on the bench.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot to move it. I totally forgot to move Rudiger for Tierney. And then Tierney ended up just not even being in the squad because he was injured. So that was a free 9 points for myself. Yeah. Although, like, Tierney also, if he played, who knows what he would have done, right? So the way Tavares was having a field day, Tierney probably could have cooked too. So, yeah, Foden, obviously a huge haul with 18 points this week. Terrific from him. Sarr, very disappointing despite Watford. And then Aubameyang missed a penalty, scored the rebound.
Yeah, weirdest 6-pointer of all time, to be honest.
Yeah, so I'll take it. If you had told me before the game he gets 6 points, I would have taken it. So obviously could have had more, but I'm not going to sit here and be mad about it.
Yeah.
He's turned into quite the differential for me still. He's up to 4.4% ownership, but he was at like 2% when I brought him in. He's got Leicester away, which they looked shaky some weeks, great other weeks. Watford at home, Liverpool away, and then Newcastle at home. After that, I might look to move him out, but as for now, I think I'm keeping him for the next 4 weeks.
Nice.
Specifically, at home, Aubameyang is a monster. He scored, I think, like 6 straight or something home games. It's something insane. So that's my team, and what I want to do is Zuma for Trent, but watching injuries. So
nice. How do you? Oh, that's fine. No worries. I was gonna say, how do you line up ahead of next week? But it's probably pretty similar.
It's the same, except Trent would be in for Zuma. I'd monitor Tierney's injury as well, and if he's playing and Vardy's not, or Mbeumo's not, bring him on for one of the two of them. But it's all just basically depending on injuries right now.
Cool. Well, what a game week, Ben.
Thank you. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was a game week that just reminded me it's a game, Chris. This is my favorite hobby. I love it. I've been playing it for 3 years. I love just the camaraderie, like talking with all of our guys and just busting jokes at each other. And I'm a very, very competitive person. So that's true. Stuff like this, it does get under my skin, right?
It did.
But
it did.
I have to move on, and I really am happy.
Everyone has a bad week, and everyone has a good week. The reason a lot of us had a good week is because we captained Salah,
right? And
you took a big gamble. Which, like I said, if I had told you before, after you told me this, if you had told me before Saturday that Chelsea wins 7-0, I would have triple captained Havertz.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's just unlucky that every goal and assist went away from him, basically.
That was the thing, dude, is watching that game was infuriating because it's like Norwich are so bad, right? And their center backs, specifically Mark Hanley, is so immobile that he can't move anywhere. So the only thing that they're doing is sitting on Kai Havertz's lap. And they're providing all this room for Mount.
Which is what his job was to do. His job was to sit, bring a center back, and let Mount and Adoy have a field day, which they both did. Yeah. They had 6 goal contributions between the two of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it sucks for sure, but that's FPL, and I don't regret that move at all, especially because they won 7-0. The logic was sound, and it just didn't come off. So
Way over the road.
What a week! What a weekend! A lot of variance. I mean, because there were multiple people who broke 100 this week, and there were people like me who didn't even get to 60 points. So, yeah. But what's next? We got
questions and then player picks. If you want to pull up, we'll pull up the fixtures for the player picks. So yeah, we can do questions. Do you want to do questions first or player picks first?
Yeah. We typically end with player picks, so we'll just do one question. We only had one question this week. It was from Jake. He said, questions for this week. Should I start Ivan Toney or Rafinha? And then how will Champions League affect some of these teams in FPL? So, Ben, I'll start with you. If you had to choose between Toney or Rafinha this week, who would you play? I'll go ahead and bring up their fixtures if you need them.
Oh, I'm taking Toney. I know I'm taking Toney 100%. I think that they have Burnley and
they play Burnley away.
Yeah.
And Rafinha plays, where is it? I can't see it. Oh,
Norwich
away.
Actually,
I think that's a tough one, to be fair.
That is a tough one, but I think that if you're looking beyond 1 week, I'm still taking Toney because I think Brentford have a couple really good fixtures coming up.
He's talking about specific to his team. If you had to pick one of them to play this
1 week right now,
I think I'd play Rafinha.
I got to monitor his injury.
Right.
He posted saying that he was better and it's nothing serious, but that's the thing too, is Toney might go 90 minutes and Rafinha might just go 55, 60.
Yeah.
So
I think Burnley,
I like the matchup for Rafinha, but I might still take Toney this week personally. I really like Toney as a player. I think that he's the key to this offense. I think that against a big physical team like Burnley, he's going to be in a game that kind of suits his play style, the physicality,
Yeah. Well, here's what I will say, Ben. If Brian Mbeumo is out this week, I may lean a little bit more towards Toney because they'll be relying on him a lot more to actually score the goals. But I do think Burnley, they haven't been that great this season, but they are typically tough to score against when they're playing at home at Turf Moor. So I don't love it. I would still, obviously, Norwich are the worst team in the league. So I back Rafinha a bit more, but that's a tough one, Jake. That'll be one you'll have to decide for yourself, to be honest.
Watch the injuries, and then the second question was, how did Champions League affect FPL?
Yeah, how will Champions League affect some of these teams in FPL? I mean, the same way it always does, the same way cup matches do.
Injuries, watch the lineups, who's starting, who's not. Specifically, one of the teams that I make sure I see their lineup for every Champions League is Man City. And you'll see more of the players that are starting in Champions League as compared to Premier League. Pep kind of likes to almost have two different sides for that type of thing. Watch, obviously, Chelsea lost both their strikers last week due to injury in Champions League, so obviously follow it for that reason. And then you can also see who's picking up form. Someone like Daka in Europa League picking up form, and it looks like he might jump Iheanacho on the depth chart at striker, honestly. So
yeah, well, that'll be an interesting one. I don't know if he'll jump it, but
he's been the one bagging the goals for Leicester, so I wouldn't be shocked if Vardy is out if Daka gets the nod.
Yeah, well, if Vardy's out, certainly. But I don't know if Vardy and Iheanacho are both healthy. I don't know if Daka jumps Iheanacho quite yet. But maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We didn't have any other questions this week. We sent out a tweet, and you guys suck and do not respond to it. Come on,
it's
guys.
Okay. It's all right. Your guys will get us back later. It's okay. You can still hit us up on Twitter.
I'm just messing. But, yeah, we obviously love questions. So anything you guys want to send in to us at any point in time, even if it's throughout the week or on the weekend, feel free to hit us up. Let's get into player picks, Ben. This week, you and I both failed.
Both blanked.
I got a 1-pointer out of Cancelo after his yellow card and clean sheet wipeout, and you got a 2-pointer out of Gallagher. So we move on to game week 10. This current score is 62 myself to 53 you.
Yeah. I picked first last week, taking Gallagher.
You did pick first last week, so I shall go first.
No Leeds players, but other than that,
no Leeds players. Not that I would really want one right now at the moment, anyways.
Yeah.
But let's see, the fixtures that pop out are Liverpool at home to Brighton, City at home to Palace, Chelsea away to Newcastle. Man, it's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna pick one of the Liverpool big boys just because I think Brighton are solid defensively.
They are.
I know they conceded
4, but typically they're very good.
Yeah, that was at City, right? Or
Yeah.
what was it at the Annex?
I believe it was at City.
Okay, yeah. This is tough. I'm going with the redemption arc.
Oh boy.
Kai Havertz.
There it is. I expected that, honestly.
I just need it.
I expected it.
Yeah. It has to be done. It has to be done.
Yeah. I mean, look, he let you down. He can't let you down for 2 weeks straight, right?
Oh, he definitely can, the way my FPL season's been going.
That's the spirit.
Hey, we're gonna give him a shout. I'm giving him the opportunity to redeem himself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if he does it.
I was looking at that Chelsea thing for players to pick, but honestly, I think I'm going to go elsewhere. I think I'm going to take Raul Jimenez against Everton at home.
Okay.
That Everton defense is shambolic at the moment. If you're a Digne owner and you're still holding out, why? Don't. That defense is terrible. That midfield is looking weaker and weaker by the game. And I back Raul Jimenez to at least bag once against Everton.
I like that pick for sure. If for whatever reason Kai Havertz does not start, my player pick will be Callum Hudson-Odoi.
All right, fair enough. All right, so Chris has Kai Havertz. I have Raul Jimenez. He is currently up 9 on me on the player pick points, and we'll see if I can't gain a little bit more ground again.
Yes, sir. We shall see. But what a game week. Congrats to you guys who got big scores. I know there were a lot of big scores this week, a lot of green arrows. And to people like me who had a tough one, we got to move on, man. We got to move on. It happens. If you play the variance game, you know the risks. Obviously, we don't anticipate the risks being 3 goals and an assist from Salah, but, it happens, bro. It happens, apparently, if you're the best player in the world at the moment.
It happens, though. But it happens. I think he has 15 goals and assists in October.
Well,
or something.
fun little statistics to throw in at the end of the pod. Mohamed Salah, and I actually quote tweeted this on our Twitter if you follow us, currently has more FPL points combined than Kane, Lukaku, Ronaldo, and Kevin De Bruyne. All 4 of them combined do not match up to Mohamed Salah.
I think Salah has Salah has 107.
He has 107 points right now. The second highest FPL point scorer in the game is Antonio, who is on 57. That is 50 points clear of anybody else in the game.
Yeah, it's really not even a debate.
In terms of I think the best overall FPL score at the end of a season was also broken by Mohamed Salah 2 seasons ago in their title win. And that was, he finished on just over 300 points. If he continues to play like this, he's going to break 400, which is...
Oh, no, he's on pace for something insane.
Ridiculous.
He is insane.
Even 350 would be ridiculous to
even 300 is ridiculous. This guy's not normal. This guy isn't normal. He's playing like a man possessed right now. It's insane. Yeah. But he's playing like he's about to get on 600K a week is what he's playing like, to be honest with you. Can you imagine if they let him walk, if they can't work out a contract and he just gets to walk?
There's no way, right?
There's no way. Surely there's no way. But he is coming up on a contract year, and they're gonna, if you're Liverpool, just let him write however many zeros he wants.
Yeah, they're throwing the house at him for sure.
Why would you not? You're not going to replace that production. So, anyways, that does it for us, guys. Once again, thank you to Jake for sending in a question. Thank you to all of you who watch every week, who come back here every Monday or Monday night or Tuesday morning, depending when we get uploaded, to watch us. Make sure that if you're here on YouTube, you click that subscribe button, like the video. Seriously, like the video, guys. Chris was really sad this week, so please like the video.
Like the video for my sadness, guys.
Please like the video because Chris was really down this week and just needs it, guys. Seriously, please. Please like this video. Follow us on Twitter at BorderlineFPL. You can tweet us if you're sad. You can tweet us if you're happy.
Yeah.
Anything in between.
Don't tweet at me if you're happy.
I'll handle it if I see it comes in. Click it before you get the notification.
Oh my goodness.
If you're gonna tweet for Ben. I had a great week.
For Ben in parentheses.
Yeah, like parentheses, not for Chris to read or something, because guys, he will be super upset about it.
No, I won't. I'm happy for all you guys. I know how the game is played.
And I promise you, there will be a week this week that I get like 20 and Chris gets like 88 or something. It'll happen.
We'll see.
But anyways, thank you guys again. Like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. But until next week, guys, peace.
Peace, guys.